Does being touch-starved affect your sleep? It certainly affects mine. I love to be cuddled. As a medical condition, probably not though. I've been reading my comment section. You guys have had some good questions. Let's get to it. Lainey Shea. Why do my sunburns never turn into tans? Because sunburns shouldn't be happening to you. Shade, SPF. What's probably happening is you're actually burning your skin, and then that superficial layer ends up peeling off because there's so much damage there, and your body perhaps doesn't form enough melanocytes. That's what gives the skin color, the melanin, the pigment to your skin. And you may not be a person who has that much melanin in your body. That's okay. Wear that SPF. Stay in the shade. Maria Turturiello. Maria Turturiello. Maria Turturiello. Hi, Mike. What is the difference between a family doctor and a pediatrician? Well, a family doctor is able to treat patients of all ages, whether they're 1 or 101. Pediatrician solely focuses on children. Both are capable of taking care of kids. I see patients who are part of the pediatric population all the time. Vaccination visits, school physicals, complaints, developmental delays. You know, sometimes we need to get specialists on board, but that would be the same with a pediatrician because at the end of the day, we're generalists. And specialists are specialists. The Lannister Lion. Can giving CPR without a certificate have legal consequences? Well, I think it varies state by state, but generally speaking, the Good Samaritan rule should apply. That means if you're the only individual and you don't have a certificate, you can try and save that person's life. Because the last thing we want are people being afraid to help victims. So I urge you, if someone collapses, call for help right away. And if they're unconscious, not breathing, you don't feel a pulse, get those chest compressions going. Remember, to the tune of staying alive. That's all I'm gonna say, because I don't want to get demonetized. Royal Twilight. I was wondering about the phrase
"Banks open on Tuesdays, folks,"
and what it meant. When you shoot against the backboard of a basketball hoop, that's called a bank shot. When you play horse, a game where you try to match your opponent's shot, you gotta call
bank
or backboard before you shoot if you're gonna use the backboard, and your opponent has to
match your shot with the backboard.
So for me, because I'm nice with it and I take a fadeaway and hit the backboard, I go banks open on Tuesdays, folks, because it's true there and about the financial system, you know? Before we go to the next question, I have to give a huge thank you to Audible for sponsoring this video. They've been a major sponsor of this channel, and I'm genuinely a huge fan. I love listening to audiobooks because it saves me time, it's effective, and I'm all about efficiency these days. And honestly, during COVID, I've been able to consume even more content. I just finished listening to the audiobook Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. I genuinely enjoyed it. I just did this whole campaign about pausing and taking care before you share. The reason why I wanted you to pause when you read some kind of questionable information is because I wanted you to think slow, not fast. Fast is reactive emotional thinking. That's exactly what that audiobook is about. And I listened to it using Audible. Look, I'm a huge fan and I want you to check it out as well. If you want to expand your horizons and invest in here, visit audible.com/Dr. Mike. Remember, doctor is spelled out, or text 500-500 Dr. Mike as well. Again, doctor is spelled out. You're going to get 1 Audible credit every month plus 2 Audible originals. It's a no-brainer. When you're investing in your intelligence, that's where you're going to get the most returns. All right, back to questions. Deanna Stevens, is eating food after it falls onto a non-sanitized surface bad for your health chronically? Are we talking about the 5-second rule? Because I think bacteria, when they see something fall, they're like,
yo, chill, 5 seconds, we gotta relax.
Not true. It's already gonna have bacteria on it. Is that the end of the world? Is it something I recommend? Probably not. Even my friends who are doctors do some absolutely atrocious stuff, like drop a piece of chocolate on the hospital floor and then pick it up and eat it and quote the 5-second rule. Please don't ever do that. Do you know what's in the hospitals? Multi-drug resistant organisms. You do not want one of those hanging around in your mouth. That's right, I said mouth. Francesca Simi, why is it that when you take a bad fall, you feel nauseous and need to throw up? Well, first of all, it could be that you got motion sick from how heavy you took that fall. Second, if you fell so hard that you have a fracture, you could also get nauseous. That's one of the hallmark signs of having a fracture. I remember when I was on that bunny slope on that snowboard and I thought I was Shaun White, I fell. I learned my lesson because I got nauseous because I broke my arm. my wrist. Do we have a Dr. Mike Discord? Well, yes, we do. Although it is invite only if you sign up to the Patreon for only $10 a month, but that money is not for me. It's not for Dan. It's not for Sam, and it's not for Bear. It's for any good cause that we decide together at the end of the month, every single month. So join now, link below. Lonely Jashinist. Are doctors trained to notice signs of emotional abuse? Absolutely. Not just emotional abuse, physical abuse, elder abuse, and child abuse as well. For example, if I have a very young patient that's coming in for multiple fractures, if we do a bone scan and we see fractures that are at different stages of healing, that makes us wonder, why is this child frequently getting these injuries? Plenty of children like to be wild and run around and fall and trip. It's part of life. That being said, if it's consistently happening, it could be a sign of physical abuse or neglect, which is another type of abuse that's equally as important to notice. Now, elder abuse is something that's less talked about, but also very, very important. There exist individuals who are being kept alive, being neglected, being taken advantage of for perhaps financial gain. For example, many elder individuals will receive Social Security, government checks, retirement checks, and some family members really in a horrible way will try and take that money away from them. And instead of use it to give them care, they pocket it and use it for their own purposes. It's really evil, and when it happens, it's devastating, and we need the courts to step in. Rick Cheese, does chocolate really cause acne? First of all, Rick Cheese, great username. To ask about chocolate, I thought you'd be asking me about cheese. I don't think we have proof that chocolate directly causes acne. Also, I don't think it's ever the case that a single ingredient or a single food can cause a problem that's as complex as acne. In general, when we looked at research in the past, what we've seen is those who eat a high amount of chocolate, and this isn't just cacao chocolate, dark chocolate, this is chocolate with dairy, with sugar, with a lot of high refined carbs in their caramel, all this stuff, they were more likely to get acne. Now look, those people also led more unhealthy lifestyles, they didn't sleep enough, they had high stress levels, so it's no surprise that they had more experience with acne. That being said, there have been some small randomized controlled studies showing that chocolate can have an effect here and there, but to villainize a specific nutrient like that, I just don't think we have enough evidence. What's really smart to do if you have acne is to talk to your dermatologist about all the things that can be contributing to acne and then narrow it down from there. Very rarely it's going to be due to a single food like chocolate. Like if a patient walks in and they have very bad acne and they tell me all the things that are going on in their life, I can't expect that if I'm just going to tell them, oh, cut out chocolate, you'll be fine. It's not going to be good medical advice. There have been some smaller studies that confirm that chocolate has pro-inflammatory effects. That means effects that create inflammation in your skin. That can be something that can contribute to acne. Second, we've seen high glycemic load diets. That means you eat a specific food, it spikes your insulin. That's considered a high glycemic load. That can sometimes cause an increase in sebum production, leading to acne. Sebum's that oil your skin creates and eventually or potentially can block off pores. But again, there's no direct tie-in that if you eat dark chocolate that you will then experience acne. I think it's more complex than that, and simplifying it to food X causing disease Y, don't have the evidence for it. Lacey Morris, have you ever been in a situation where you had to feel a patient's abdomen, but they had PTSD? No, I would say the closest thing that I've had happen was I had to perform OMT, which is osteopathic manipulative therapy, on someone who was, I guess, traumatized in the sexual sense. And part of what I do, because they were experiencing neck pain, was evaluating the neck. And I really just went about it as forthcoming as I could be, meaning giving all the details of what I was about to do before I did it. That developed a layer of trust with that patient, and we just took it slowly, one step at a time. And that sort of desensitization really helped that patient a lot as we had more encounters, and we were able to get rid of her neck pain, and she's doing quite well now. So one key is sleeping at night healthier than sleeping during the day. For example, if you work night shifts or third shifts, does it simply depend on how many hours you sleep at once? When we look back at evidence, meaning look back at individuals who live the life of sleeping during the day as opposed to at night, and we compare them to those who sleep at night and work during the day, we see better outcomes for those who sleep properly at night, matching our human circadian rhythm. That being said, we don't have great reasoning for why this happens outside that it doesn't follow your natural circadian rhythm, and likely that because of weekends and everything else, you're gonna be shifting back and forth, and that's really unhealthy. My recommendation, if I was giving it to one of my family members, would be to try and find a career where they can sleep at night and work during the day. But I know that's not feasible for everybody. I don't want you to worry about it as if it's just this horrible thing. Just know that it is one potential risk factor that you can mitigate. Diamond on demand. I'm nearing 18 years, midlife. Should I start watching for my eating? Diabetes is common in half my family line. You should absolutely start looking at what you're eating now rather than waiting till later. I'll explain why. When we think about heart disease, meaning people that get heart attacks, their blood vessels start getting blocked off from plaque buildup within the arteries, within the blood vessels. But that plaque doesn't form when you're 40 or when you're 30. I mean, it builds up during those ages, but it really starts laying the foundation at your age, at 18. So if you can live a healthy life and watch what you eat early on, that's gonna pay dividends when you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 100s, 110s, or 120s. I want you to be the longest living person on earth. Again, huge thanks to Audible for sponsoring this video. Check out these videos here on the truth about picking your nose or cracking your knuckles. Arthritis? Stay happy and healthy.